So for me, personal growth actually doesn't have to be based on only one thing, because you have to grow yourself in different categories. It can be career wise, it can be spiritually, it can be mentally, and it can be physically as well. I do encourage people to always take note on developing themselves in all of these areas, because that is what makes you, that is what makes your personality. So if you are able to stand in front of someone and present yourself, if ask yourself this question, if they ask you who are you and who were you yesterday, do you have an answer to that?
Welcome to yet another edition of the Shutters TV show. Today at the Shutters TV show, we have an amazing guest, and she's going to talk about personal growth, that is personal development. You're welcome to the show. Can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you so much for the warm welcome. So my name is Kendra. You can get to me on TikTok as Queen Boss and Instagram as Kendra Rich. So I live in the UAE and I work as an LSA in a school. So basically I'm going to be presenting today what you can do, or how I think people should be more concerned when it comes to developing themselves personally.
Okay, Kendra, I must say you look absolutely amazing today. I know you always look like that, yeah? So based on this concept of personal growth, so how can people actually develop their personality?
So for me, personal growth actually doesn't have to be based on only one thing, because you have to grow yourself in different categories. It can be career wise, it can be spiritually, it can be mentally, and it can be physically as well. I do encourage people to always take note on developing themselves in all of these areas, because that is what makes you, that is what makes your personality. So if you are able to stand in front of someone and present yourself, if ask yourself this question, if they ask you who are you and who were you yesterday, do you have an answer to that?
Based on you now,
Yeah.
because I believe that you have been through this process of developing your personality. So how did you actually find yourself in this process, and how do you feel now?
Personally, I would love to always tell people I'm a young girl that started from nothing to what I am today. And given the position or the opportunity I have right now, I always tell people you just don't need to grow. Like, growth is not when you change from getting paid from 30,000 to getting paid to 100,000. Growth is within. I personally, I have a story that I'm going to share with you all. That's my story on how I grew and why I think growing personally is very important. So before I came to the UAE, I was in Cameroon, and I'm someone that loves dancing. I've been dancing. I usually go for shows, birthday shows, marriage ceremonies. Wherever I danced, I used to make a lot of money, but was that really where I wanted to end? No. So in that process, I got into network marketing, which is actually still operating right now. I still do the network marketing because I don't relent any effort. I do what moves with me. So I did at that time, and I'm still doing network marketing with Long Reach, where it helped me to accumulate a lot of knowledge, and that's where I actually learned to develop myself, because I learned how to talk to people, I learned how to manage people, and I learned how to be consistent in a lot of things. So after doing Long Reach, I had a discussion with my parents, and we decided that I should move to the UAE. On moving to the UAE, it wasn't an easy journey, because you know the aim, when you go somewhere you have an aim. My aim was to become a very good barista. For those who are in the UAE, you know who is a barista. Someone that makes coffees. We serve latte, cappuccino.
That's when I came to UAE. When I used to hear about barista, I thought that is a lawyer. I'm like, oh my God! So I'm just going to be a lawyer in this country like that. I saw a lot of people going in for, say, I'm a barista. I was like, dang, what's happening? No, before I come to realize, okay.
Yeah, I had a conversation with my mom concerning that, by the way, when she told me you're going to be a barista. I sent her a very long voice note. They're trying to scam you. How come I've not done law? I'm an economics student. How will I become a barista? She laughed and laughed and laughed, and she told me, take your phone and go and look for what is the meaning of being a barista when it comes to the UAE. So I did my researches, and yes, I got to the UAE. I did my barista training, and fortunately for me, I wasn't lazy and I wasn't slow. So I had to put myself into the role of a barista, because I did the training only for 2 weeks. I don't know who does barista training for 2 weeks and get a job just 2 weeks later.
Oh,
me.
Amazing.
Yes, so you have to put yourself in that role. If you keep telling yourself, no, I don't even know what's cappuccino, I don't know what is coffee beans, I don't know what is this, I don't know what is that, you don't do your personal researches, you only want to rely on what they told you, then you're going to be lagging in a lot of things. So after my training and during my training, I was doing my personal researches. Before I traveled, I was going to cities by cities with a friend of mine. We used to go to coffee shops and ask people, can I have coffee? Can I have a latte? Can I have a cappuccino? And all of that. We did not know what it was. I personally did not know what it was, but I always did my researches. And when I came to the UAE, I did a training in Dubai that made me grow my skills. That was physical. It wasn't theory. I could do the activities by myself. And I got my first call for an interview. My first call of my interview, you know, there's one thing about listening to people. Learn to listen to your inner self. The first call I had, someone told me, don't bother, they're just people disturbing. They just want to stress you, you're not going to get the job. But imagine, that's the job I actually had for the next 10 months in the UAE. I worked there as a barista, but I didn't want to stay there. I didn't want to stay there. I wanted to move. I wanted to change from being a junior barista to a senior barista to a head barista. So it's a whole process. It's a whole procedure. I'll cut the story short by saying, after working in that place, I got a lot of issues, a lot of stress, and decided to move. When I moved, I became a senior barista in another coffee shop. But how do you think I left from being a barista to being a teaching assistant / LSA in a school?
Amazing.
That's what we are talking about, right?
Your story is amazing because, you know, I've known you for a while, and you know, the moment that you told me that you were leaving your barista job to be a teacher, I was not really positive about it. I wasn't you yet, but I was seeing a bit of impossibility about it, because I knew that you've done this barista work for a very long time. But the teaching, I was feeling like you have no idea
About what I'm doing.
Yeah, but the moment when I realized that you got the teaching job, and then I was like, damn, this lady, you know, it was like you had a different spirit in you. You know, so this is just to let you guys out there to understand that you have to build your spirit, you have to grow, you have to develop your personality.
That attracting energy.
Yes, and this personality development is not only about job wise. Even when you find yourself at any position, you have to be humble. Being humble, you're already developing your personality, because your boss might see you as a humble guy and decide to give you a role or another position in that same company, which you will be step up. Personality development is also about how you can face the public, how you can talk publicly, because we can still call it public speaking.
Yeah.
You know, it still falls on
it's
that
another skill on developing yourself.
And developing yourself. So if you're that kind of person that you are being, you know, it's like you are in a shell. You shelter yourself, and you cannot explain to people, or you block yourself from growth to an extent that you are so comfortable in the company where you're working. It is a problem.